When Elon Musk walks onto the stage of the Melissa Carter show, the audience expects an interesting yet measured conversation with one of the most influential minds of our time. But Melissa Carter has no intention of having a friendly chat. Behind the scenes, her producers are carefully orchestrating the interview. Editing cues are prepared, and the audience is strategically selected to turn against Musk at the right moment. This isn't a simple discussion, it's a setup. Yet, as Elon takes his seat, his expression remains unreadable. Melissa smiles, confident that she's about to create the viral moment of the year. But what she doesn't know is that Elon already sees the trap, and in just a few minutes, he will turn it against her. Before we dive into the story, let us know where you're watching from. And if you love content like this, hit that subscribe button. Tomorrow, we have another exciting story for you. The Invitation. It was an ordinary Tuesday morning when Elon Musk opened his inbox. Among the usual emails, business deals, meetings, invitations, one subject line caught his eye. Exclusive invitation, a candid conversation on the Melissa Carter show. Elon skimmed the message. He knew who Melissa Carter was, one of the most provocative talk show hosts in America, famous for hard-hitting interviews and sharp, sometimes ruthless, questioning. Her show had a reputation for putting guests on the spot, especially those with unconventional views. Musk took a sip of his coffee, considering. He wasn't naive. He knew exactly what this was. Yet, after a brief pause, he typed his response. I'd be honored. The plan. Back at the Melissa Carter Show studio, producers gathered around a whiteboard, planning their approach. Melissa leaned against her desk, flipping through her cue cards. He's an easy target, she mused. Her producer, Jake, frowned. Elon Musk? Seriously? People love that guy. Melissa rolled her eyes. That's exactly why this will work. He's untouchable to his fans, but times are changing. We need to challenge these outdated power figures. She tossed a card onto the table. We'll paint him as out of touch, as someone whose time is running out. Jake nodded. And if he pushes back? Melissa smirked. Then we make sure that moment goes viral. The interview begins. The day of the interview, Elon stepped out of his black Tesla, his posture relaxed, his expression unreadable. A few staff members whispered as he passed, some excited, others skeptical. Even the security guard at the entrance couldn't help but grin. Big fan, Mr. Musk, the guard said. Elon gave a small nod. Thanks, man. Inside, the production team moved quickly. Every camera angle was meticulously planned, ensuring the audience saw exactly what they wanted them to see. The seating arrangement was carefully curated. Some true fans, but also people planted to challenge him. Every detail of the interview was designed to control the narrative. Elon Musk simply took his seat across from Melissa, resting his hands on his lap. Melissa greeted him with a flawless smile. The red light on the camera blinked. Elon Musk, welcome to the show. And just like that, the trap was set. Melissa leaned in slightly, her tone warm, inviting, almost too perfect. Let's start with something simple, she said. What do you think about the future of technology and business? Elon smiled, the same measured expression he always had. But what no one in the room knew, not Melissa, not the producers, not the hand-picked audience, was that Elon Musk had already seen through their plan. And within minutes, he would turn this interview into something they never saw coming. The ambush. The studio was perfectly staged, the lighting soft enough to make Elon look like an iconic entrepreneur, one that Melissa intended to break down piece by piece. She started with a light question, but quickly moved into more dangerous territory. You've built an empire, Elon, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, but don't you think it's time for new voices, a new generation of leaders? Some say figures like you are relics of the past. Elon tilted his head slightly. I think innovation doesn't have an expiration date. Melissa chuckled, flipping through her cue cards. Perhaps. But let's be honest. Your leadership style, your persona, it represents a certain kind of power that the world is moving away from. Wouldn't you agree that the future belongs to more inclusive, cooperative figures rather than lone disruptors? Elon leaned back slightly. I think progress comes from those who are willing to take risks. And risk-taking isn't a group activity. The audience shifted. Melissa noticed. She needed to push harder. You're known for being bold, she continued. But don't you think that some of your ideas promote an outdated way of thinking? Some might argue that figures like you dominate the conversation too much. Elon gave a small, thoughtful nod. Do you believe conversation should be limited? Melissa hesitated for the first time. That's not what I'm saying, she said quickly. Elon smiled, just slightly. Then what are you saying? Behind the cameras, the producers exchanged worried glances. This wasn't going as planned. Melissa was losing control of the conversation. The turning point. She adjusted in her seat, regaining her composure. Elon, you've always been admired for your innovation, but you've also faced criticism for your views. Some say your influence is too great, that your voice overshadows others. Shouldn't tech leaders step aside to make room for new perspectives? Elon raised an eyebrow. When I was a kid, I was taught that respect for those who came before us was essential. He paused, then added, It's interesting how today, respect seems optional. The room went silent. The audience shifted. Even the producers held their breath. Melissa forced a laugh, but it was thinner this time. That's a very poetic answer, Elon, but let's talk about facts. She flipped through her notes. You're known for controversial takes on AI, free speech, and space travel. Some argue that your vision is dangerous, even reckless. Elon nodded slowly. I think humanity should move toward truth. Melissa frowned. Elon gestured toward the audience. People don't support Tesla, SpaceX, or Neuralink because they fear the future. They support them because they believe in one. The audience murmured. Melissa could feel it. She was losing them. The backlash, the interview aired, and within hours, social media exploded. Hashtags like Elon didn't flinch, respect is optional, and Melissa Carter exposed flooded Twitter and TikTok. Melissa's attempt to corner Musk had backfired spectacularly. And the next day, when a reporter caught Elon outside a cafe and asked if he had anything to say about the interview, he simply smiled and replied, I think we should all try listening more than we speak. It was over. Melissa Carter had lost, and Elon Musk had just won, not by fighting, but by staying true to what he always does, thinking ahead.